teams, or we are expecting both teams to come up with. Fafana will be missing the game due to suspension. Cucurella would also be missing the game suspension. We know Rhys James is back, but we'll get to find out if he will be on the bench or he will be left out, and maybe the next week he just joined the team. So I want you to give me a lineup you go for this game with Chelsea from the goalkeeper to the striker. Do you think Jackson and Nkunku, which of them would you start? So I want you to go for a full lineup for me. Then we see how we'll set up.
Okay. Yeah, so I think no surprise, obviously, apart from the absentees, people who'll be missing out through the suspension. So obviously we'll have Sanchez in goal. He's been improving. He's had good games. He's had some shocking moments, but that's expected. I think that's where we are at the moment with the goalkeeper, so that no problem with that. So I'll have Sanchez in goal. As I mentioned, right back will be Malo Gusto. You mentioned Fofana will be missing, so I'll bring in the guy from Fulham, if you can help me with his name.
Darabayo.
Yeah,
that's him. Yeah,
Toby,
yeah. I think I'll bring him in because he can help with set pieces and that sort of stuff. Liverpool are actually quite dangerous at set pieces as well. And then obviously left centre back will be Colwill, left back will be Renato Vega because of Cucurella missing. Midfield two, sitting in front of the defense would be Caicedo and Enzo, no surprise there. Number 10 role will be Cole Palmer. I think Madueke will start this one. On the left, I'll go for Sancho, and then up top, which is the debatable one. Personally, I'd prefer Nkunku, but I think for this game, I think Maresca will go with Jackson. I think Nkunku will come in as a surprise, as he's been doing this season. Hopefully, he will come in earlier if needed, rather than late in the game, because I think he's our best finisher in my opinion, rather than Jackson. But I think Jackson, as we all know, he adds a lot to his game by running and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Last season, the 4-1 win for Liverpool at Anfield, Nkunku came in to get a goal for Chelsea. So why don't you start with Nkunku? Because he has shown that he will be able to score for Chelsea. That is my first question. And second, we'll be looking at Enzo Fernandez. We've seen that anytime they go on international break and they get back, Enzo Fernandez finds it very hard to adapt the league for a while, at least 2 games before he gets his form back. So do you think this game, Lavia will be a best pick ahead of Enzo Fernandez? So maybe with these 2 questions, you just let me know which you think. Would you go for Nkunku because he scored against Liverpool in the last fixture at Anfield? And Enzo Fernandez and Lavia, who do you think would go ahead? Because Lavia has been with a set through the international break. Enzo will be traveling back to England, which is a long flight for him. And sometimes he gets to slow down during games. And there's a big game for Chelsea. So with these 2 options I've given, do you think you make any changes to your lineup, or you just stick with your lineup?
So I think with the Jackson or Nkunku one, I understand your question about Nkunku having scored at Anfield last time. But then, there was no surprise then. Nkunku is always a clinical finisher. I think at Anfield, Liverpool will like to be on the front foot. They will like to press, I think. Having Jackson, who would be a little bit more aggressive, and then have some runs in behind, someone who can stretch their defense a little bit, I think would be a better option for us. If we want to go to Anfield and have the ball, impose ourselves, like maybe City would do, for example, then yes, Nkunku would be the better option. But I think we'll have less of the ball this time. And so, Jackson will be better on the counter-attack, I think. Enzo Fernandez, I mean, it's been a difficult one this season, in my opinion. He's had some good games, but mostly bad games, if we're honest. However, I think tactically, Enzo would just edge it for me because he's got some experience. Also, I think Liverpool will like to press in the midfield as well, and they'll press with their forward players. One thing you can do with Enzo is drop him deep, allow him to play the long balls. This season, we've seen him drifting towards the sort of left flank a little bit to create some space. So I think I expect that sort of thing. But it's, I'll fully understand if Enzo Maresca goes with Lavia and Caicedo in the midfield. That will not be a problem. But I I think Enzo will take this one.
Okay, well, Raph, I want to also know about Liverpool. With their lineup, I know McAllister is also an Argentinian. Those players, especially when they travel that far to South America and getting back, they find difficulties adapting to the league, especially first game, big game like that. What lineup would you go? Would you try to take McAllister out of this setup? And between Jota and Darwin Núñez, which of them would be the line? Gakpo, this shown that he has that flair in joining the team. So as we saw the week before the international break, Gakpo had a chance. Yes. So which players are you going to set up in your first 11 to meet Chelsea?
All right. So quite obviously, we'll go in for, since Alisson Becker is out injured, automatically our second choice goalkeeper, that is Kelly, will just be in the goalpost, and then Trent Arnold that's the right side of defense, and then Ibrahim Konate and Virgil van Dijk in central defense, and then we have Andy Robertson as usual, and then Gravenberch, and then Dominic Szoboszlai. Yes, then with the Alexis McAllister, there's no way we are going to drop him. There's no way another midfielder like Wataru Endo, Curtis Jones will start ahead of McAllister, because the last game Argentina played, he was substituted in the 66th minute. I don't know if it was for tactical reasons. I think he has to get some rest for this game. And also, Van Dijk also picking a red card was also a blessing in disguise in a way for him to get enough rest to be fit for this game. But this is an important game for us. And also, with the four liners, Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, as Julius said, deadly finisher by all standards. Now, the problem I'm having currently, which I'm finding it difficult to decide, is between Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo. But on paper, it is clear slot to go in for Luis Diaz as the left winger. And McAllister, as I said earlier, is starting together. I mean, the lineup is not changing. The only difference we're going to have now is Alisson Becker not starting in the goalpost. So that is the lineup we're going for.
Okay. Just talking about Kalia, he has been one goalkeeper when facing Chelsea. He has been able to stand the Chelsea setup. And checking his record, I think he hasn't lost a game against Chelsea, being in post. And having discussions with some Chelsea fans, they were even worried Alisson Becker is not in post than Kalia being in post, because they think Alisson Becker is more of a goalkeeper they can beat than Kelia when it comes to game against Liverpool. What do you think about that? Do you think the same way, or you think it's just a normal day he had against Chelsea and there is nothing to worry about?
So I think, first of all, he's a very good goalkeeper. Liverpool have been blessed with, having two good goalkeepers. And, I think, unfortunately for him, I'm not sure if he's going to be the future number one. I think he'll probably look for a move away from Liverpool, because they're planning to, replace Alisson, and they've brought in someone already. But to answer your question, I think it's been coincidental, to be fair, that, he's had time and goal against Chelsea, and Chelsea have been poor going forward. We've had really bad finishes in the past. I remember we had a Gallagher chance. He should have scored that goal. Timo Werner and all these guys, I think so. Yeah, Timo Werner, yeah. But in general, we've had bad finishes and we've had poor games against Liverpool. And it wasn't because of their goalkeeper being so good that we couldn't score. It's because we were bad at finishing at the time. I think this time is different. Although he's a good goalkeeper, I definitely would go for him in goal against us rather than Alisson. Alisson is a world-class goalkeeper. There's no doubt about that. So, if he's one of those keepers where he's the difference maker between a 1-0 and a 1-1, for example, because of a one save that he can make. So I don't see any problem with that from Chelsea's point of view.
Okay, so Raph, we come into this podcast. I want to know, what do you think the scoreline of this particular game will be at Anfield?
Now, with the scoreline, I think Liverpool. Yes, I think Liverpool is beating Chelsea by 2-0. This is a sure game. This is a sure win for Liverpool, because can I chip something little on the goalkeeping issue? Now, with Alisson Becker being out and then Kelleher, yes, the stats are saying that Kelleher normally has a good game against Chelsea, which is quite true. It might be true. And as Julius also said, it's because Chelsea had some bad finishes way back. But there's one good thing Alisson could have done if Alisson was in this game, was that his deliveries. Alisson is very good at his feet, and Alisson can deliver a ball, especially from set pieces. Alisson can pick up the ball, look at Mo Salah, a straight pass to Mo Salah, and we are on goal, or we are true on goal. But that is one thing Kelleher cannot do. Now, Liverpool basically adds Alisson up to the outfield players when we are playing. Alisson can move all the way from his goal post, right maybe to the middle of the pitch to even construct or make passes together with his players. So Alisson not being part of this game is a big blow for Liverpool, even though Kelleher is very, very good as a goalkeeper. But with his feet, I don't think he will match up Alisson Becker. So that is the little I can say with the goalkeeping issue. So with the scoreline, I feel,
a 2-0. But this season, with Liverpool has considered just 2 goals in 7 games, and Chelsea has scored 16 goals in 7 games. Apart from Manchester City, who has 18, Chelsea are the next with 16 goals. And you think on this day, Liverpool will be able to hold up Chelsea for them not scoring a goal?
Yes, I know Chelsea has, if I stand to be corrected, they have 100% away record. Yes. All their away games they played at, yes, 100% away record. And Liverpool have also the best defense in the league currently. But yes, don't forget, this is Anfield. We have the 12th man behind us. That is our fans. I mean, they'll come up for us. The voices, they'll be making a lot of noise to, disturb or to make the Chelsea players lose a little bit of concentration. So those who have not been to Anfield before, they'll face some difficulties. But those who have been to Anfield before, if they can calm down and play their game, they'll be good to go. So yes, even though Chelsea, I watched Chelsea's last game. If the last game, Nottingham Forest at home, they struggled a little bit. Even though Nottingham beat us at Anfield, that was a wake-up call for Ancelotti, for him to know that we are beatable at Anfield. When Klopp was in charge of Liverpool, we lost a game. But he and Ancelotti getting that defeat at Anfield was a wake-up call for him. So I think he'll be very, very careful about what he will be doing on that same day. But since this is a big game, one thing Liverpool players or Liverpool fans like the most is give them a reason to play and they're going to deliver. So if we have a reason that this is Chelsea, they are on form, we are playing, let's come up 1-1 against each other. I think Liverpool pick this one and then beat Chelsea by 2-0.
Okay, Julius, I want to also know your prediction on this game, your correct score on this particular game, and also write something about they having the best defense in the league, which they've just considered 2 goals. I think in general, they have 5 clean sheets in the league out of 7, and which is very impressive. What do you think the scoreline of this game would be? And can Chelsea go on this game and not score a goal?
I think this is, to be honest, this is one of the difficult ones to predict because, both teams are unpredictable at the moment. We're both fresh in ideas and with the manager. So it's difficult to predict. Yes, they have a good defensive record, but as I say, they'll be losing a world-class goalkeeper. And also we are, as you've pointed out, we've scored the second most goals with Cole Palmer in red hot form. So I think it will be 2-1 to Chelsea. As a Chelsea fan, I just have to go with the win for Chelsea as well. We can't keep a clean sheet against Liverpool for sure. I don't see us keeping a clean sheet, especially with the fact that we're losing a couple of our defenders as well. But I think, we should be able to outscore them. With the Anfield factor, it's always a thing. But one of the things that I could say in our favor is the players that we've got, they're young players. They've got a little bit of this sort of maverick sort of character, like Cole Palmer. He doesn't really care that much about the pressure, that sort of thing. Noni Madueke carries himself the same way. Sometimes it rubs off Jackson as well, I think. Sancho maybe. So I think in that respect, I think it will play in our favor where if they can keep their head down, not care about the Anfield atmosphere, then I think we can have a good game against them.
Okay. So Julius, you being in UK, want to know, for example, a game in Merseyside, that is Unveiled. moving from London, as Chelsea will be moving from London to Merseyside to play. If you're a fan, a Chelsea fan, and you have a ticket, moving from London to Merseyside, how is the transportation like, and how long does it take to move from Merseyside, from London to Merseyside? And also, as a fan, going into stadiums like this, we've all sometimes been to local stadiums here, and we find difficulty sometimes with ticketing and a whole lot of things. But in bigger stadiums, in bigger leagues like this, what are some of the things you experience, the positives and maybe some negatives you think happen during match games?
Okay, so from London to Liverpool, I think it's around 4 hours or so. I've actually never been to Liverpool, even though I've lived here for and also I think usually the away fans are loyal. They're very loyal because you can imagine they have a season ticket, for example, and they get to travel, leave their jobs, or sometimes it'll be rainy or cold, but they have to travel with the team to wherever they go. So they're very loyal. There's no problem there in terms of the travel and the turnout for away fans. And then I think one of your questions was, what do you get to see? So when you go to a stadium, one of the things you would realize is the pace of the Premier League. When they say the pace of the Premier League is very fast, that's one of the things that you will see sometimes when it gets tense, the way the players can pass the ball around, zip it around at pace. That's sort of like the difference that you will see from Premier League football compared to the other ones. And also how physical some of the players are, to be fair. Caicedo, for example, is a very he's a bulky guy. You can see he's not tall or big, but you can see that he's strong and aggressive as well. So those are, I think, some of the things that you see that you may not see on TV that well. Yeah.
And also I want to know, getting into stadiums, some of the positive things, not just on the field of play, but some of the things around, maybe with ticketing, with finding your seat, with a whole lot of things around the stadium.
Yeah, so I think in terms of finding your seat and whereabouts, it's well laid out, it's easy because of safety reasons. So they want to make sure that you can go in and come out as quickly as possible in case of any trouble. There's also so many stewards around to help you find your way. So not a problem there. I think maybe the challenge will be actually getting tickets. So for example, for me, I'm just a member of I'm just a Chelsea member, and I only get to buy tickets when people sell them. Let's say they don't want to attend a game for some reason, and it comes up for sale. Otherwise, I'd have to be a season ticket holder, which is quite expensive, and you have to commit to it. You have to, because you've already paid up front, you have to go to all the games. So that's the main challenge in general, anyway. Yeah.
So meaning, if I'm getting you right, meaning when the tickets are out or the fixtures are out, people get to purchase from game 1 down to game 38. They have the season tickets there. And when maybe there's an issue for them not being able to attend it, then now they have to sell it out. So it's hard to get tickets when you don't purchase it earlier.
Yeah, so there's a thing called a season ticket, which is, basically you buy it and you have access to all the games. And it's a little bit discounted rather than, if you have to buy per game, for example. But it goes really quick, as you can expect, because it's Chelsea or any big club, any Premier League club. It just goes quickly. And so if you have that, that's good. But then, as I say, you can be a member of Chelsea or any other club, and then when a season ticket holder decides to sell their tickets, so they'll put it on the Chelsea website, and then that will come up for general members to be able to buy.
Okay, that's nice. I think with something like this, maybe in times to come, we'll be able to adapt that same type of style in Ghana and try to make it work, maybe as time goes on. So thank you, Raph. Thank you, Julius, for honoring my invitation and we having a discussion on Chelsea versus Liverpool, or Liverpool at Chelsea at Anfield. One thing I want us to discuss is, after this game, maybe we'll have the chance to review the game get to look at
Okay.
which side went wrong for which team that lost, or even if we'll get to look at what happened and what the coaches did well, and we highlight on some of the players. So maybe after the game on Sunday, we would schedule on maybe trying to get just after the game, or just maybe a day after the game, to try and have a good discussion on that particular game. So thank you for coming on.
Good. That's really good.
Okay.
Being able
Thanks for having us.
Educate people about everything about your clubs and what we should expect from them.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.